Hello children, this is Mrs. Haripriya from Pon Vidyashram. Welcome you all for the Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution Part 5. Hope you all are safe and fine. Yes, in the previous video we had seen about the October Revolution and also the effects of the October Revolution and about the Civil War. So now in this video we are going to see about the economical situation of the society in Russia and also the global influence of the Russian Revolution and also the USSR. Are you ready to see? Yes. Shall we go? Making a socialist society. It was a planned economy which is a process of centralized planning was introduced by the Bolsheviks. The officials planned for the development of the economy and made the 5-year plans. The major target was the industrial growth. The first two plans were concentrated on the industries mostly. So during this period, the industrial production were increased, and also the new industrial cities were came up with a very good profit even. So but rapid construction led to poor working conditions. Workers quarters were built in an improper manner, so without proper attention to certain facilities like toilet facilities and other conveniences were often made across the street from the living quarter. It often made for miserable life in the bitterly cold weather even. Schools were established for the workers' children, and an extended schooling system was developed for factory workers and peasants. Creches were made in factories for the benefit of women workers to take care of their children in the factory itself. And also cheap healthcare facilities was also provided by the government. So this is how the economy good well working government system was done by the Bolsheviks. Stalin and collectivization. The early years of the planned economy proved to be disasters for the collectivization of agriculture. There was acute problem of grain supplies in the towns during the period of 1927 to 28. The prices were fixed by the government, but the peasants refused to sell grains to government buyers at these prices. So this was the time where Stalin was the head of the party. He introduced firm emergency. In 1928, he sent party members to the grain producing areas. They supervised enforced the collections of the grains. Kulaks, that is, well to do peasants, were raided, but these steps could not solve the grain crisis. Stalin's collectivization program was then started. So, from 1929, all peasants were forced to cultivate in collective farms. So, the bulk of land and implements were transferred to the ownership of collective farm. So he is Mr. Stalin. Enraged peasants resisted such attempts and destroyed their livestock. Those who are all resisted the attempts of collectivization were severely punished. Many were deported and exiled. After large-scale protests, some peasants were allowed to work on their independent farms, but the government was not sympathetic to them. It is not allowing anyone to do the farming in their own independently. So but collectivization did not produce the desired results. Bad harvest during the period of 1930 to 1933 led to one of the most devastating famines in Soviet history. Over almost 4 million people died during that famine. So many within the party who criticized Stalin's policies were charged with conspiracy against the socialism. So by 1939, over 2 million were in prisons or in labor camps as they are not obeying the Stalinism. So a large number of people were forced to make false confessions and were executed. The global influence of the Russian Revolution and the USSR. So, the possibility of a worker state fired people's imagination across the world. But most of the existing socialist parties in Europe did not wholly support the policies in Russia. Communist parties were formed in many countries. By the time the Second World War began, USSR was considered to be the global face of socialism. By the 1950s, many people within the country began to acknowledge the fact that everything was not right in Russia. Although USSR had become a global industrial power, but basic freedoms were denied to the people. Many countries adapted to some ideas of socialism, but each country interpreted them in their own ways. So, till this, the chapter is over, my dear children. We'll meet you soon with a new chapter in the next video. Thank you, children. Bye.